Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. The world is on edge once again as Iran's elite forces declare that they are ready to unleash hell on the United States and Israel. The declaration came after a fiery speech from Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, who delivered a savage jab at former U.S. President Donald Trump, calling him the symbol of arrogance and humiliation. Those words ignited a storm of anger and defiance across Iran's military establishment, and within hours, commanders vowed to respond to any aggression with overwhelming force. Tensions between Tehran, Washington, and Tel Aviv are once again reaching a dangerous peak. Iran's elite Revolutionary Guards, strengthened by years of regional conflict, now claim that their patience has ended. They promise that any hostile action from America or Israel will be met with firepower, unlike anything seen before. Their warnings are not empty. Over the last decade, Iran has transformed its military capacity, developing precision missiles, stealth drones, and a vast network of regional allies. Khamenei's comments struck deep because they came at a moment when Iran's leadership feels cornered. Crushing economic sanctions, isolation from Western powers, and internal unrest have pressured the regime. But rather than retreat, Khamenei has chosen confrontation. His attack on Trump was a symbolic message to the United States. Iran will not forget, it will not forgive, and it will not back down. Across Iranian television, images of Qasem Soleimani fill the screens again. His assassination in 2020 remains a wound that never healed. Khamenei's words about Trump revived that anger, reminding his followers that the blood of their hero still demands revenge. For Iran's elite forces, revenge is no longer a slogan. It has become an obligation. Reports from Tehran describe intense activity in military bases. Missiles are being moved, drones prepared, and naval units deployed in the Persian Gulf. Commanders speak of new strategies and decisive operations. They emphasize that if war is forced upon Iran, it will not be limited to Iranian soil. They intend to target every base, ship, and ally that supports aggression. In Washington, officials are watching with concern. Intelligence agencies warn that Iran's words might soon translate into coordinated actions through proxy groups. In Lebanon, Hezbollah remains heavily armed. In Yemen, the Houthis continue to threaten shipping lanes. In Iraq and Syria, pro-Iran militias are quietly rearming. Each of these groups could act as Iran's extended hand in a future conflict. Israel sees the same warning signs. The Israeli Defense Forces have placed air and missile defenses on high alert. Fighter jets patrol the skies more frequently. The Iron Dome and David Sling systems are tested daily. Officials say they are preparing for any scenario, from cyber attacks to direct missile strikes. They remember that Iran's reach has grown, and that Hezbollah alone possesses tens of thousands of rockets capable of overwhelming defenses. The phrase "unleash hell" has now become a symbol of Iran's defiance. It appears on posters, in songs, and in military chants. For Iran's leaders, it captures the spirit of resistance that defines their revolution. They want the world to believe that they are not afraid of war, that martyrdom is honor, and that destruction is preferable to submission. Yet behind the fire of their words lies a complex strategy. Iran knows that a full-scale war would be devastating. Instead, it aims to create constant pressure, psychological, political, and military. Every missile test, every fiery speech, and every naval maneuver is part of a long game designed to exhaust and divide its enemies. Khamenei's jab at Trump also served an internal purpose. It reminded Iranians of the years when their country stood alone against Western power. It revived pride among loyalists and distracted from the economic hardship ordinary citizens face. His speech blended ideology with survival, turning anger into unity. The United States has answered with restraint but determination. The Pentagon has repositioned aircraft carriers, increased intelligence flights, and reinforced bases across the Middle East. Commanders state that any attack on American personnel will be answered swiftly, but they also understand that a miscalculation could ignite a regional war that no one can fully control. Analysts point out that Iran's elite forces are not bluffing. Their ballistic missile arsenal has become one of the largest in the region. Systems such as the Ahmad, Qatar, and Mesage can reach deep into Israeli territory and even threaten U.S. bases in the Gulf. Iran's drone fleet, tested in Syria and Ukraine, adds another layer of danger. These capabilities mean that even a limited exchange could cause massive damage. The tone in Tehran is one of righteous anger. Officials declare that Iran has endured decades of injustice, from sanctions to assassinations, and that the time of silence is over. The Revolutionary Guards speak of strategic patience ending. They insist that any insult to their leader or their martyrs will be met with fire. Israel views those statements as direct threats. Its intelligence units monitor Iranian communications and satellite images. Rumors spread that new bunkers and underground missile silos are being built near Isfahan and Kerman. The Israeli press debates whether a preemptive strike might be necessary. But most analysts agree that such an attack could trigger a chain reaction involving Hezbollah, the Houthis, and even militias in Iraq. Meanwhile, Khamenei continues to use speeches to send coded messages. His attack on Trump was not just about one man. It was about America's image. By calling Trump a humiliation, he attacked the broader Western system that Iran sees as corrupt and oppressive. His words were meant to remind Iranians that their struggle is moral as much as political. Across the region, the atmosphere grows darker. In the Persian Gulf, oil tankers report being shadowed by Iranian patrol boats. In Syria, unidentified drones strike weapons depots. In Iraq, rockets target bases housing American troops. Each event adds another spark to an already burning fuse. American diplomats urge calm, but their words carry little weight in Tehran. Iranian media portray the United States as weak and divided, obsessed with its own politics. They mock Western warnings, claiming that America has lost the will to fight prolonged wars. This narrative strengthens Iran's domestic confidence and encourages its allies to act more boldly. Behind the curtain, other powers watch carefully. Russia and China both criticize Washington's policies and defend Iran's right to security. Moscow supplies Tehran with advanced air defense systems. Beijing signs major energy deals, ensuring Iran's economy survives despite sanctions. Together, they give Iran the confidence that it can withstand Western pressure. The possibility of direct confrontation grows each week. Military analysts warn that one wrong move, an accidental shoot down, a mistaken missile launch, a malicious strike gone too far, could ignite an uncontrollable escalation. Both sides say they do not want war, but their actions suggest otherwise. Ships, jets, and missiles are all moving closer to the edge. For millions of ordinary people, this tension feels like a shadow stretching over daily life. In Iran, citizens worry about another round of sanctions and shortages. In Israel, families prepare shelters and follow every news update. Across the Gulf, investors fear the closure of vital shipping routes that carry the world's energy. The threat to unleash hell reverberates beyond politics. It affects global markets, alliances, and even faith. Religious leaders in Iran portray the confrontation as a battle between truth and arrogance. Western commentators call it reckless posturing, but both agree that if the words turn into missiles, the consequences will be catastrophic. Khamenei's speech has now become part of a broader narrative of defiance. His insult toward Trump transformed into a rallying cry across Iranian media. Commentators describe it as poetic justice, a reminder that those who challenge Iran will face humiliation. State television replayed the speech for days, highlighting the crowd's chants and the Supreme Leader's calm defiance. In the United States, reactions are divided. Some call for stronger deterrence. Others warn against being drawn into another Middle East conflict. The administration balances diplomacy with readiness, keeping channels open through intermediaries like Oman and Qatar. But communication is thin, and mistrust runs deep. Meanwhile, Iran's propaganda machine continues to build momentum. Videos show missiles launching into the night sky, soldiers training in deserts, and commanders declaring victory before the battle even begins. The message is clear. Iran wants the world to believe that it is ready, fearless, and united. Israel, aware of the psychological warfare, responds with demonstrations of its own strength. Air Force drills simulate long-range missions. The Mossad reportedly intensifies covert operations inside Iran, targeting networks related to missile development. Every action provokes a counteraction, each side convinced that deterrence requires dominance. As weeks pass, the tension becomes normalized. Statements of war fill daily news cycles, but beneath the surface, diplomats still search for a way out. Some European countries propose renewed talks on nuclear limits and regional security. Tehran rejects preconditions, but hints that respect and equality could open the door. Still, the atmosphere remains charged. Each anniversary of Soleimani's death renews calls for revenge. Each new U.S. sanction renews Iranian anger. The cycle repeats, fueled by pride, fear, and history. The phrase "unleash hell" echoes through all of it, an ominous reminder that words can easily become weapons. Late at night, Iranian television shows soldiers praying before large missiles. Commanders speak softly about duty and sacrifice. They tell their troops that destiny is near, that the enemies of Islam tremble in fear. It is both ceremony and preparation, faith and propaganda intertwined. Outside Iran, global powers prepare for all outcomes. The United States strengthens alliances with Gulf states. Israel coordinates with Western intelligence agencies. The United Nations issues statements urging restraint. But in reality, the power to stop escalation lies with a handful of men making decisions behind closed doors. In Tehran, those men believe that defiance preserves the revolution. In Washington, they believe that pressure will contain it. In Tel Aviv, they believe that strength ensures survival. Each belief collides with the others, and the result is uncertainty wrapped in fear. Iran's elite forces continue to train relentlessly, Satellite photos show exercises simulating attacks on mock U.S. bases. Fast boats encircle mock carriers in the Strait of Hormuz. Drones drop precision munitions in desert ranges. The message is repeated endlessly. Iran is ready for any confrontation. At the same time, Iranian diplomats claim that they seek peace, but only through dignity. They accuse the U.S. and Israel of aggression and hypocrisy. Every sanction, they say, is an act of war. Every cyber attack, every covert operation, every assassination attempt adds fuel to their anger. The world watches this dangerous dance unfold. No one truly wants another war, but pride and ideology push all sides closer. The ghost of past conflicts haunts every negotiation. The memory of Baghdad, Beirut, and Damascus reminds everyone how quickly things can collapse. And so, as Ayatollah Khamenei's words continue to echo, his savage jab at Trump now immortalized in Iranian rhetoric, the region holds its breath. Iran's elite forces remain vigilant, promising vengeance and resistance. The U.S. and Israel strengthen defenses, hoping deterrence will hold. But history shows that when tempers flare and egos clash, deterrence can fail in an instant. The threat to unleash hell may still be rhetoric, but rhetoric has power. It shapes minds, moves armies, and defines history. Whether the coming months bring negotiation or destruction depends on choices made now, in silence and secrecy. For the millions living under the shadow of this standoff, all they can do is hope that the fire stays contained, and that reason, not rage, decides the future. As the sun sets over Tehran, over Tel Aviv, and over Washington, the same question hangs in the air. How far will they go? The answer remains uncertain, but one truth is clear: every time words of defiance are spoken, the world edges one step closer to the flames. And somewhere in the darkness, Iran's elite forces wait, convinced that if provoked, they will not hesitate. They will act, they will strike, and as they warned, they will unleash hell.